Okay, so in this experiment we'll be working with a special little flask. It's 25 milliliter Erlenmeyer, and in the middle here you see there is a small well. Okay, when you're preparing your solution you have to be extra careful to put the solution on the outside of the well and make sure that you don't splash inside the well. Okay, so I'll prepare the solution. Okay, the first thing that I will add is the Krebs ringer buffer. Okay. As you see, I'm adding it very slowly, being extra careful not to splash into the well. Okay. For this demo, I will do it with the adrenaline. Okay. Slowly add the adrenaline in, slowly mixing, again being extra careful not to splash into the well. And then I add the C14 glucose. And then I mix by just gently twirling. Okay, so when you receive your fat pad, it's going to be in a beaker with a Krebs ringer buffer. Okay, we have the buffer here, and this here is the fat pad. So the first thing you need to do is take out the fat pad and cut it into 3 pieces. Okay. So I just blot it a bit to get rid of excess buffer. Okay, and then just randomly cut it into 3 pieces. Okay. Now you're going to do that with both fat pads, and then we ask you to take 2 random pieces and put them together. Okay. And then we ask you to weigh these 2 pieces. So for the analysis of the results, you know the weight of the tissue that you worked with for this particular sample. So now we're going to prepare our paper. Okay, so we need to cut a little piece of paper. And fold it like an accordion. Okay. Then we take a 1.5 Eppendorf tube and we just cut it about halfway. And insert the paper into it. It's very important that the paper sticks out. Okay. And then to that we will add 200 microliters of 10% KOH. And it's important that the paper soaks up the KOH. Okay. Then we take the tube and we insert it into the well. So at this point we need to take our tissue and put it into the medium. Okay? We have to be very, very, very careful not to splash onto the paper. Okay? Also need to make sure that the tissue is submerged into the medium. Okay, so at this step I'll just show you how to do the gassing. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is turn on the tank. Okay, and gas the solution. Okay, and you don't want to create a splash, so all you want is a little movement of the medium. It's very important not to splash on the paper. And you do that for 2 minutes for each sample. And when my 2 minutes is done, I want to quickly cap the flask. Okay, and seal it like that. Then at this point we're going to put it into the incubator at 37 degrees for 30 minutes. Okay, so at this point into the experiment we need to add 1 normal sulfuric acid to our solution to stop the reaction. Okay, so all we need to do is poke through the sealing cap. Okay, and make sure that the acid doesn't fall onto the paper. Okay, so you just slowly let it drip onto the side of the flask. And then you gently mix, again making sure that nothing splashes onto the paper. And then we will incubate it at 37 again for 10 minutes. Okay, so now I will demonstrate the extraction procedure. After your tissue has been washed with Krebs ring or buffer, you transfer it into a graduated extraction tube. And with the transfer pipette, Add acetone. Up to the 8 or 9 milliliter line. Okay. And then using a glass rod, you gently press on the tissue, crushing it, and you can actually see the lipids being extracted. And okay. You want to be careful not to hit the glass too hard, because if you break the bottom of the tube, you will have a radioactive spill on your hands. Okay, so you want to be very gentle. It's very soft tissue, so it's very easy to break apart. So as you can see, when it's just hard tissue that collects at the bottom, like you see here, that means that you're done. Then we will add more acetone to the 11 milliliter mark. And we're going to centrifuge it for 5 minutes. Okay, so after centrifugation, I need to transfer 8 mils into an extraction tube. Okay, so right now I'm sitting at 11 milliliters, so I'll use a transfer pipette. And bring my volume down to 3 milliliters. So I know I've transferred 8 milliliters into this tube.